How is what I do as a plant-based health coach different from the work of a doctor or a dietitian or a nutritionist? That is a question that I get all the time, and that's going to be the topic of today's video. Hi guys, my name is Liz. I'm an epidemiologist, a plant-based nutrition specialist, and a health coach. And I want to clear up some confusion that I often hear about the difference between my work and that of other health professionals. Because I often talk about nutrition, there is some overlap in the topics that I talk about with that of the role of a doctor or a dietitian or nutritionist. So sometimes people have a bit of confusion about that. So I want to break that down and clear that up. Let's start with a doctor, because often when someone is feeling sick, that is the first place that they go. They go to a doctor, and their doctor is there to provide a diagnosis or to provide treatment for whatever health condition that person is experiencing. Let's say maybe they're diagnosed with diabetes. As the daughter of a nurse and diabetes educator, I know then that people with diabetes are often referred on to a dietitian, who is often called a nutritionist. Depending on where you live, those terms are more or less interchangeable, but a dietitian will work with the patient and will look at their labs and everything that the doctor has sent over, and they're going to help them to provide them a treatment protocol through their diet and a meal plan that is prescribed by that dietitian or nutritionist specifically for that client. A health coach then is a specialist in behavioral psychology and in integration. So what that patient with diabetes, everything that they learned while talking to their doctor and then talking to their dietitian or their nutritionist, that is knowledge that can be incredibly helpful to them. But oftentimes, even after having those visits with the doctor, with the nutritionist, people are still left feeling uncertain about what they should be doing next. Sometimes patients have a hard time figuring out, well, what do I do with this? How do I actually incorporate it into my life? And that is where a health coach comes in. In my case, specifically a plant-based health coach. When you go to see your doctor, how much time do you usually get with them? Most of the time, it doesn't feel like very much. According to a study here in the US, the average patient spent about 15 to 18 minutes with their primary care doctor. And 68% of patients reported that they felt rushed in that visit with their doctor. The unfortunate thing about our health system is that it's not really the provider's fault. It's not the doctor's fault that they don't have more time. Usually they would like to give more time, but they are meeting patient quotas and have to run off to see the next patient and provide the next diagnosis or the next physical exam. So unfortunately, our health system is set up where doctors aren't really able to give their full support to that patient. They can give them that diagnosis, they can give them a treatment plan, but how that patient is going to put that treatment plan into action is usually not something that a doctor has time to really be able to discuss. If you are referred on to a dietitian or a nutritionist, then that time constraint isn't so much an issue because you have a dedicated period of time where you can meet with that nutritionist. And usually you meet with them at least a handful of times over a period of a couple of months or so, and they will help you to establish a dietary protocol and a meal plan for you to follow at home. But the limitation with working with a nutritionist is that they are not necessarily able to be that support with you where you aren't just talking about nutrition and aren't just talking about the meal plan, but you are working to figure out how you can incorporate that realistically into your life on a day-to-day basis. So that is where the health coach comes in. Health coaches are trained to be able to walk that health journey with you on a day-to-day basis. We're not specifically here to provide you a diagnosis or a treatment plan or a meal plan like a doctor or a dietitian can. But instead, when a client comes to us and they say, my doctor really wants me to change my diet. My nutritionist talked to me about how I can incorporate more fruits and vegetables into my diet. I know what I should be doing, but I don't know how. I don't know how to make that happen. That's where the health coach really shines. We are here to provide that support for you, to provide that extra guidance, and to walk that journey with you. We treat you as the expert because you are the person who has that knowledge of what it's like to live your life and to walk in your own shoes. But we are here to help provide that support, that guidance, and that accountability that so many people need in order to help accomplish their goals. And beyond that, we are trained to be able to help people to set realistic goals in their life and to look at what it is that they want to see, that improvement in their health. Maybe if you're diagnosed with diabetes and you want to figure out how to manage that in a healthy way, we are here to help you break that goal into little pieces so over time you can make a change in your health in a sustainable way. Sometimes a health coach wears more than one hat. They might have other licenses or certifications in other areas of specialty. For me, for example, I have a master's of public health in epidemiology and disease control. So I am a specialist in preventing and controlling diseases. I often tie that into the work that I do when I'm working with people who are trying to control or to prevent disease in their own life. And I am also a plant-based nutrition specialist. I tie that knowledge of plant-based nutrition to my work with my clients who are trying to find a more balanced diet and want to increase the presence of plants in their own diet. It's not something that I talk a lot about on this channel, but I'm also a certified yoga teacher. I have training in teaching yoga and mindfulness techniques, and on occasion, that comes into my work as well. When I have clients that want to improve the way that they are moving with their body or improve their own mindfulness practice. It can be surprising how much mindfulness practices can help people to improve their health, even when they don't see how those two things are connected at all. So sometimes I wear different hats where I'm not just wearing my health coach hat, but instead in my time with my clients, I might put on that epidemiologist hat or that plant-based nutrition specialist hat, or even sometimes that yoga teacher hat. And I find that having all of this experience and bringing it all together, that it can be a really beautiful combination for some of my clients who in particular are trying to improve their health, prevent or control diseases, who want to improve their nutrition, who want to bring more balance into their diet through increasing the presence of plants in their diet, and who want to move in a way that is better caring for their body. And they want to improve their own mindfulness habit so they can not just integrate their physical health, but also combine that with a better mental health practice. Sometimes getting the care that you need requires having a full team, and that team might include your doctor. Maybe it includes a dietitian or a nutritionist, and it might even include a health coach. But most importantly, that team includes you. You are the expert, the absolute world-leading expert on your own body and what it is like to live in your own skin. So never ever discount how much that matters, understanding your own health. I really focus with my clients on helping them to get in touch with their own health and their own bodies. So if you haven't yet watched it, I want you to go and watch my Eat Method video, where you can really become an expert on your own body and your own experience just by becoming more in touch and more attuned to your own body and mind. Improving your health demands that you show up for yourself. And sometimes that includes finding the right team. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.